WBAL 1090 Baltimore Ravens Radio Network on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com for more information. Ravens, Steelers last night, AFC North on the line. The game goes to Pittsburgh, 26-24. Game-winning field goal missed by rookie kicker Tyler Loop. Playoffs are set. Rams, Panthers, Packers, Bears, that's Saturday. Buffalo and Jacksonville, San Francisco and Philly. The Chargers and the Patriots on Sunday. Houston and Pittsburgh on Monday. Atlanta has fired their head coach Raheem Morris and general manager Terry Fontenot. Myles Garrett sets the all-time record for sacks, 23 in the season. Raiders have the first pick in the draft. And the coaching carousel likely to get underway very much so today. But
a lot of regime change coming over this weekend. A lot of regime change.
Oh, my God. I didn't realize what you just did until I took a second. Why are you using that word?
You already got Raheem Morris fired.
I did. Yeah, I got Raheem Morris.
You did.
It was a collaborative effort.
Man won, four games in a row, still got clipped because of Evan Cohen.
No, it's my fault.
Evan Cohen, big regime change guy.
Oh.
Big advocate for regime change, Evan Cohen.
Specific regimes?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Okay.
So, you're a former coach.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
Was last night, in your mind, his final game with the Ravens?
I think there's a strong chance that it is. And I get it, all the reporting around it. Adam Schefter saying that John Harbaugh leaned safe. Something seems amiss between the relationship of Harbs and Lamar Jackson. And because of that, and the Ravens being in a position where they have to address Lamar's contract in a significant way this offseason, I think that something's got to give. I understand that nobody wants to blame either one of them for the lack of success that they've been able to achieve since 2018. But at some point, you've got to be able to take advantage of a quarterback that's capable of putting together a fourth quarter like we saw in Pittsburgh last night. And there are just too many instances of the Baltimore Ravens having blown double-digit leads this season, but also throughout John Harbaugh's tenure to justify staying the course. Something has to change in order to get a different result, and I think that the head coach, between the two of them, is by far the easier to make a move.
It certainly is the easier. When you have a player of the caliber of Lamar Jackson, you don't move on from him, right? So it's easier to blame the coach to move on from the coach. But I would warn Baltimore that if you do that, you better hope that you get the next guy right, because John Harbaugh has had a tremendous amount of success there. He believed in Lamar. He centered everything around Lamar in a way that a lot of other evaluators would not have done heading into his career. And you always say, Evan, if you're going to fire somebody, make sure you have the next guy lined up. Make sure you know who you want to hire, right? Who is that person that's out there in the hiring cycle this year that you feel like is that can't-miss person? There isn't really that Ben Johnson type guy that we had out there last year. And you know, Ben Johnson has come in with the Bears and done an amazing job. Liam Cohen has come in with the Jaguars and done an amazing job. There could be quality candidates out there that could maybe maximize this roster and Lamar's talent in a different way. But I was thinking about it. You had the missed field goal from Tyler Loop last night. Obviously, that's a mistake. Last year, you had the Mark Andrews fumble. 2 years before that, Zay Flowers. There's been these really small moments for the Ravens that just have been unlucky for them in ending their seasons. And I know that that's not good enough, that this is a results-based business, and Harbaugh is ultimately going to shoulder that. I'm just saying, while it's probably likely that that's a conversation that's happening in Baltimore, I'm not so sure it's the right conversation to be having.
John Harbaugh was asked about his future last night postgame.
Are you feeling like you want another shot with these guys?
Yeah, I love these guys. I love these guys.
Yes, you're smirking.
I'm not. No, I'm not smirking. Let me not. No, I'm sorry. I'm just
fine.
When listening to John Harbaugh saying I love these guys, and you know, he clearly wants to be there, but you can tell that he's not certain that he's going to be there. And that trepidation in his voice, that's a first for me hearing that from Harbs when it comes to his future in Baltimore. I mean, listen, the Baltimore Ravens have existed for 30 years. 27 of those 30 years have been Brian Billick and John Harbaugh. And so it doesn't feel like an organization that would make a move of this caliber with a coach that we all believe to be one of the 10 best in the sport. But at the same time, I think the urgency that they should have because of who the quarterback is what moves the needle toward moving on from John Harbaugh. I think John Harbaugh, if he were to no longer be the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, would have a job this hiring cycle if he wanted it. Mm-hmm. But just because he's in demand for other teams around the NFL doesn't mean that he's still the guy for the Baltimore Ravens. And so I don't think the franchise should operate from a place of fear of not knowing whether or not you're going to be able to replace him with a head coach that's going to be as good. If you want to be concerned about something, if you want to be afraid of something, be afraid of not being able to get a quarterback like Lamar Jackson to the Super Bowl. And so I think that, when it comes to postseason fortunes, it favors the bold, and the Baltimore Ravens have to be bold in terms of charting a path forward, and that could include moving on from Harbs.
Does Lamar's injuries this season factor into that decision at all for you?
No.
Okay.
No, because what happened in Buffalo week 1 set the tone for the season, and Lamar was perfectly healthy.
Okay.
There was no reason that they should have lost that game at all. If you won that game, guess what? We're not having this conversation because you're in the playoffs.
It's not coming down to last night. Yeah.
I think when you think about this situation, even though it's the Harbaugh name and you want to compare it to all of his family members and things like that, I would compare it to Andy Reid in Philadelphia is what I would do. And I'm wondering where his Alex Smith into Patrick Mahomes is. Where is that job where he's like, that quarterback is good enough for me to start there and get somewhere else? Because a great quarterback opportunity is not going to be available unless it is. What did I just say?
Yeah.
If Buffalo loses early, that's what I'm targeting if I'm John Harbaugh. If Sean McDermott potentially is out, Adam Schefter yesterday went through on NFL Countdown all of the possible hypothetical maybe jobs. And while he did not in any way, shape, or form say that Buffalo would be open, what he said is everyone's asking me about, meaning people like us, ask him about if they lose early. If Buffalo loses in the playoffs to Jacksonville on the road this weekend, which is a legit possibility. And I've said on our show, Buffalo should walk to the Super Bowl with Mahomes and Lamar not there. Trevor Lawrence is so good right now, I don't know about that. But if they lose and that job is open, you walk to that if you're John Harbaugh. You go right there.
Boy, that would add some juice to the comparison between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Is that
Harbaugh wins with Allen?
I'm trying to look around what other jobs could be available that John Harbaugh would say.
Packers job?
Which one?
Packers job?
Don't you dare.
Packers job?
Trying to fire my coach?
I'm not trying to fire him, but it's out there that if they have an early postseason exit, he could be gone.
Yes.
He didn't get a contract extension from the new team president.
And what jobs
He's going
are
into the last year of his deal.
What jobs are available? Atlanta, where he's been. Tennessee, where he's been. He may be saying, you know what? I'm going to have my agent flirt with them to put pressure on the Packers.
Yeah, but what we're saying is that John Harbaugh would, if he were no longer the coach of the Baltimore Ravens, would have opportunities to be a coach at places around the NFL that matter.
Correct.
And with quarterbacks that are considered franchise guys.
Absolutely. So if you're Baltimore, are you sure you want to get rid of that guy?
Well,
he may get rid of you. That's what we're saying. I think that, and also I'll give you one other job. Now, I wouldn't be excited about this if I'm him, but I've been saying for a while now, I believe that the Miami Dolphins, if John Harbaugh is available, may offer him everything. We know that Jim has been offered everything by Stephen Ross with the Michigan connection. Every building on campus is named after the owner of the Dolphins. I could see him going after John and saying, which job that I have available would you like? Right? And sorry, Mike McDaniel, I wasn't planning on firing you, but I may get this guy. That's the only thing with Tomlin, to me, I don't know that Tomlin's walking away. If he does, to me, he's going to sit next to us. I feel like he's going to say, let me see what this TV thing is like. And he's way more attractive, I think, on TV right now than John Harbaugh would be. For whatever, I think Tomlin has way more personality, it seems like.
You don't even know if Harbaugh would really want to do that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I think John Harbaugh feels like he'd take another job the next day. I think Tomlin would not necessarily. And in order for him to voluntarily leave Lamar Jackson, you got to tell me where he's going. Because nowhere, you don't leave. If you want to coach.
So you think if he left, it would be because he wants to get out, not because the Baltimore Ravens are showing him the door?
Yeah, that's my
I don't know about that.
Well, you know more than I do.
I don't know about that. I don't know, because here's the thing.
I just eat a lot of crap.
You got to get the quarterback on board with the plan moving forward. And if the quarterback and the head coach have a rift, and based on how some of the reporting has come out over the last couple of weeks around that situation, it's starting to feel more and more like that, then I don't know that Lamar Jackson is going to be amenable to adjusting his contract to give the general manager some salary cap relief so they can continue to build a team moving forward. So I think it's a very complicated situation in Baltimore, and ultimately it's going to come down to whether or not Lamar is on board with John Harbaugh. If John Harbaugh stays as the head coach, it would be because Lamar Jackson blessed it. And I don't know that that's going to happen.
Well, we know Smalls is blessing H&R Block, as she has been for years and will be today on our show.
That's right, Ev. Life